Would you say the characters in Hunter x Hunter are overpowered? What is it about Nen that gives them supernatural abilities? Let us try rating them from 100 by analyzing their strengths and weaknesses. Stick to the end to find out where your favorite characters are placed on the list. A man who needs no introduction as supreme ruler of the Hunterverse, none other than King Leodio himself, the only candidate who successfully punched the legendary hunter and father of Gon freaks, Jin, and lived to tell the tale for another day. I jest. The number one spot is reserved for the true Emperor, 99 out of 100. What separates Meruem from the crowd isn't just his raw strength, rather his high intellect and quick learning. In his mental battle against the Gunji champion Komugi, he evolved rapidly and learned the true art of warfare. Meruem is the representation of ultimate power, someone who is fearless and bold, immune to physical attacks since his primary attribute is an enhancer with ridiculous strength and durability. His body allows him to consume Nen and gain their powers and aura. This was observed when Yuppie and Poof gave him their life energy to recuperate from Netero's deadly blast. After consuming their Nen, he gained wings using their attributes such as conjuring and manipulation and ended up being an adept specialist. He managed to master the craft of flight within seconds. This was his original drawback. He and Pito were unable to soar the skies and had a disadvantage. They both relied on jumping and was one of the reasons Meruem was unable to touch Netero at first. Regardless, Meruem was made complete. His Ten is enormous. His Zetsu is silent, his Ren is massive, and his Hatsu is diabolic. In my opinion, he lacked nothing. He was a genius on and off the board. While fighting the most formidable opponent in the entire Hunter x Hunter verse, he managed to calculate Netero's attack and adapt to his routine. And within milliseconds or smaller, he found his bias and located the needle in the haystack. An opening which no one else could have seen or imagined. Netero's attack and defense is considered to be flawless. His 100 type Guan Yin Bodhisattva is impenetrable. His reaction time is beyond the speed of light. You only see the after images of his movements. There is no time wasted from his Ten initiation to his Hatsu activation. If Meruem is considered a perfect warrior, then Netero holds the title for a fulfilled fighter, 98 out of 100. He might seem as a runner-up, but he dominated the verse for so long. Seasons came and went as he was training. For years without food or water, being nourished only by his energy. That is when he unlocked his fullest potential and mastered his instincts. Netero then dwelled in the spiritual realm after having achieved nirvana. His attacks were always graceful. Every move he takes is precisely calculated, from training to fight with one leg, to having it taken amidst the fight of his life. He prepared his body to handle a long descent. This paid off when the dragon threw them to the earth. As powerful as Meruem was and is, I'm not certain how the battle would have ended if Netero was in his prime. I can only imagine how scary he could have been. I would rate him as the deadliest human and hunter to have ever walked the Hunterverse. I must also add Aluka as an honorable mention. 100 out of 100 as well as 10 out of 100 in terms of power alone, she is undisputed even beyond Meruem and Netero. Since her will is absolute, she can destroy or heal anything she wants. She was the only one who could have brought back Gon from the grips of death. A heavenly aura roared as she unleashed her power. An aura on par, if not greater than the King of Ants. The only reason she is not placed on the top is because she lacks fighting abilities. A fast hunter would end her before she utters a word. The next spot might seem controversial, but after thorough research, we have to hand it to adult Gon. 97 to 98 out of 100. A vengeful soul fueled purely by wrath and dark energy. After Pito attacked Kite, Gon showed his first instance of uncontrollable rage and had to be immediately stopped by Killua. Pito then ended up killing Kite after a bloody battle, Gon's mentor and guardian, Ging's student and prodigy. During the palace raid, Gon met Pito and threatened to kill her on the spot. The second instance of his uncontrollable fury was registered and had to be pacified by Killua once again. After he and Pito went to save Kite, she told him he was already dead and used his corpse as a play doll. This time, Killua wasn't around and Gon had lost all hope. His dark side had emerged from the depth of his core. What ensued was an aura comparable with the king, if not momentarily greater. He was able to see everything in slow motion. A single hit from Adult Gon was able to rearrange Pito's face, while a serious hit from Meruem only grazed Pito. After beating the life out of Pito and toying with her, Gon finally got his revenge. Fourth spot is debatable. In my humble opinion, I would have to go with Ging and Pariston, 95 out of 100. Out of all the hunters handpicked by Chairman Netero, these two were monsters in their own respective. Had Netero not eliminated Meruem and brought an end to his dictatorship, these two would have been tasked to remove the Chimera ants from the map. We haven't seen them in action yet, but they are believed to be stronger than the royal guards. Out of the two, Ging is the dominant force. His introduction alone was the most epic entrance in anime, riding a dragon on a dragon, building Greed Island and paving the way for newbie hunters, and conquering the world. I spent days trying to figure out who deserves the fifth spot. In the end, there were three worthy contenders who stood out: Xeno Zoldyck, Crollo Lucifer, and Neferpito. After careful analysis of each of their power, I believe Pito has a slight edge over the two, 92 to 94 out of 100. The reason being her insane durability. Not many can withstand a full front attack from Netero. Even though Xeno and Crollo have shown remarkable feats, Pito's end is one of the scariest in the entire verse. The ferocity of her aura and the purity of the malice is unparalleled. To top it all off, she possesses incredible healing abilities, capable of healing the king's detached arm in a few hours and her own broken hand in a matter of seconds. Her healing abilities is second, next to Maki, a member of the Phantom Troop. In all-out brawl, Pito is the last person you would like to meet in the arena. Without further ado, allow me to introduce you to the sixth strongest character, 91 to 92 out of 100, Captain of the Phantom Troop. A notorious group of powerful criminals and hunters, a deadly gang feared throughout the world. Individuals personally selected by Crollo to do his bidding and carry out his schemes. The mastermind behind the entire operation. Crollo's true strength was seen when he held off two of the most skilled assassins, Xeno and Silva Zoldyck. His reaction time and defense were unmatched. What makes Crollo unique is his ability to steal Nen powers. This was demonstrated when he stole the ability of clairvoyance and used it to prophesy the troop's future. Crollo still has room to grow. Soon, he can be a dominant figure. To be honest, Xeno deserves a higher spot on the list, but the others won't budge. A solid 90 out of 100. Dragon Dive alone is considered to be top 5. An attack which left the palace in shambles. In his fight against Crollo, he was able to corner the notorious leader and pin him to a spot. This allowed Silva to deal the decisive blow, which was ineffective against Crollo. But they were at least able to try and hold their own, and even deal slight damage in the process. Even though Xeno lacks in other attributes, his conjuring is top tier. He was able to summon a magnificent dragon from nothing. Speaking of conjurers, do you remember Phaeton? 88 to 89 out of 100. The deadly host? The one with no mercy? Maybe this will refresh your memory. No? What about this? The one who fought the self-proclaimed Ant Queen. Their speed was unobservable by the naked eye. What makes him a ruthless enemy is his aura. The more damage he receives, the higher his energy output. He can then conjure a miniature sun, capable of boiling and scorching flesh and skin. There are only a few individuals who can survive this attack. I would put it up there with Dragon Dive and Guanyin Bodhisattva.